I am here with my cousin Rishi, but in this family, we don't regard each other as cousins. We are brothers because we came from a common heritage. There was a man named Behareesingh who in 1869 left Kashi, well, just outside of Kashi. It's a village called Garkara, 28 kilometers outside of Kashi. And he left there to come to the Caribbean. He arrived here on November the 8th, 1869. He was an indentured laborer and he worked on the estates for 5 years. When he finished in 1874, he started a small little parlor, as we call it, which was a small little shop in Tunapuna, because he was contracted to the Makoya estate. And in 10 years later, in 1884, he sent £4, 19 shillings and 6 pence to his brother in India, in Bharat, which is how we were able to find him and to find the people. So, having done the research and found these people, we are all proud descendants of this Bihari family. From 1845, when we first came as indentured laborers, to 1917, when the last stopped, it was 147,000 plus Indians who came to the Caribbean to work on the sugar estates. And that is our story. And our family's story is a lot more detailed, as Rishi will tell about us.
And this is why we're here this evening. We're here with a few family members, descendants of Behareesingh, and we're discussing and trying to get some stories, particularly from the elder persons, and I'm saying elder being over 80, elder persons, so that the younger generations today, and not only the generations of today, the future generations that at this point have not yet been born, that they can look at these people and try to get an understanding of the culture and what has molded these generations that have come since Behareesingh. What has molded us? Where did we come from? So the idea is to get a much better understanding of the culture, of the principles and morals of which we were all brought up via one of family ties, principles of education, of improvement, self-improvement, being better for ourselves. These are the things, and sacrifice. A lot of our forefathers have sacrificed greatly for us, and I think we need to appreciate that and let the younger generations understand it. So I want to say thanks to Shiva for this afternoon.
And it's a time before we had electricity. It's a time before we had pipe water supply. It's a time before we had refrigeration. A time before we had milk package, we only had cows. It's a time before all of that. It's time before we had only water from wells, and that is what we want our descendants to understand.
Mm-hmm. So going forward, we will see a few interviews and conversations with a few of the elders tonight, and you will see that we will post on this site. But in addition to that, going forward, I want to encourage everyone out there who has access to an elder within the family to listen to their stories. Take your cell phone and film it. I want to thank Shiva Parasram in particular today for doing this with us in a professional manner with the cameras. And Shiva is willing and standby for anyone who wants his assistance. He has said he will help us. But if not, do it with a cell phone camera, upload it to this. We want to share these stories, not just for the children of today, but for the future children. We want to have these stories documented for them.
And we are speaking about a time before cell phones. We are speaking about a time before phones. We're speaking about a time before refrigeration. We're speaking about a time when, in order to keep meat, to have meat when the family was coming, you had to have a goat tied to a tree because you didn't know when they were coming because they had no phone to tell you. So you had to wait until they arrive and then kill the goat after their arrival and skin it and clean it and so on. I'm speaking from a Kshatri perspective, of course not a Brahmin perspective where they're mostly vegetarian. But the fact is, there were adjustments we all had to make life possible.
All right, so you say your grandmother, she was living, you grew up with her.
With us. We live like an extended family.
Right, and you had all the 4 houses in one compound,
Yes.
and those houses still there. But what your grandmother used to do like during the day and what was her daily routine?
She would get up very early, she would bathe, and she would go to the temple in Green Street. That was her temple.
Yes.
She was her father built the temple, and she was the person carrying it on with her other grandchildren and other children and so on. And she would leave there at about 8:30 and come back Green Street corner by her son, Suruj Narinesingh, and spend a little time there with them and then come home. And when she come home, if she has anything to wash, she will wash her clothes. She didn't want anybody to wash for her. She didn't want anybody to iron her clothes. So she used to wash her clothes and hang it up, take the iron when it dry, and iron it on the table. Although they had somebody to do that, she didn't want it.
She would do it for herself.
Yeah, and she was vegetarian. She do eat no meat, right? And that's how she carried on her life all the time. When she had nothing to do, she would sit down and read. But she reading like the Ramayana and the Gita. With 2 glasses sometimes, because she reached 92 years, you know. When she died, she was 92 years old. And she always liked to go up and look for her sister, Dul.
And Dul was living where?
Dul was living 5 Rivers.
Right.
So we used to go up there and look for her every now and then, right? And this is what made her happy and probably prolonged her life, right? But she was a fantastic lady in that when she put over a point, she will argue her point and stick to it. Okay. Yeah. And when I came home one day, I see curtains down. So I asked my mother, what happened? All the neighbors used to call her Mai. So she said, well, Mai conk out. So I said, what? She said, Mai died. And they took her body and they took it to the funeral home. Okay. Well, I was shocked because she was never sick.
She wasn't ill or anything?
She wasn't ill or anything. She just gave up that day. She went and she bathed and she lied down on the bed and she passed away. It was a fantastic way.
How old you were at that time?
I was about 20, just in my early 20s. Okay. Yeah, I came from school. Okay. So I just started working. Yeah.
But going back now in your primary school days, tell us about your primary school days. What Tunapuna used to look like and in them days?
That school was called Tunapuna CMI, Canadian Mission Indian School. So they dropped off the Indian and it was Tunapuna Canadian Mission School. It was a fantastic school because most of the children came from Mango Road, Page, and Tunapuna proper. And there are about 400, 500 children there. You know.
Where that school was? In location?
Payne Street in Tunapuna. When you come up Tunapuna Road, you just walk up Payne Street. So. Okay. And right by the Presbyterian Church was opposite. It's still there. Okay. Yes. They rebuilt it and so on, and it's still there.
Yeah.
But that school, in those days, only five of us were writing college exhibition, they call it. And only one person get. There's a fellow named David Rampasad. He went on to Canada and he became the Crown Prosecutor in Winnipeg. Okay. But school life there was fantastic. We used to get free lessons, and the principal, and the majority of children were from Mango Road, as I said, and Page, right? Because they used to call it Canadian Mission Indian School. So the other children went to the government school, the EC school, and the RC school. Okay. So this school mostly had the Indian children.
Okay.
And it was very, very well run, competent people, and you get all the morals. Like, you don't see nothing like trail rangers now. We had trail rangers.
What's trail rangers?
Trail rangers were the boys in a group, and they will take you to little trails and so on, and they will teach you small skills, right? How to light a fire, how to put up water to boil, small things like that now. Yeah. And we had little entertainment and so on as well. You could come up and say a poem, you could come up and sing a song, you know, or you could come up and give a joke. And they had something called TGIT, Trinidad Girls in Training. They do have them things again.
And what was that about? In Trinidad Girls?
Trinidad Girls in Training, TGIT. That was the Presbyterian board organized that for all the Presbyterian schools. So sometimes we move from this school and we go south. And all these Presbyterian schools, in those days had no Hindu school, you know. It was just the government schools, the Roman Catholic schools, the Anglican schools, and the Presbyterian board. So that was it.
That Girls in Training, what training?
They used to give them, all the girls, like my sisters and them used to go to that. And they had a little badge they used to get them to put on. And they teach you how to do little preparations of cooking, housekeeping, like home economics and so on. Right? And general training in behavioral patterns. How to carry about yourself with dignity, you know? And it was really fantastic. It was really fun. We don't see that now.
No, that's true. So after primary school, after college exhibition, you went on to...
I went on to Osman High School. Okay. Yeah, that's where Krishna went to.
Right.
And my other brother was going there and he took me down.
And this is in Woodbrook? Woodbrook.
Robert Street in Woodbrook, French Street in Woodbrook, next door to Astor Cinema.
Okay.
So we used to walk from Port of Spain down to French Street.
Okay.
But it had plenty of fellas walking because the whole of the East-West corridor who didn't get St. Mary's College or QRC had to go to Osman or Progressive. Two private schools.
Yeah.
So if you don't get St. Mary's College or you don't get QRC, you have to go to Osman or Progressive. But they had Osman boys and Osman girls.
Okay.
So I went to Osman boys and I went to school in Woodbrook.
Okay.
And it's there where from there I wrote exams. In my 4th year down there, I wrote senior Cambridge.
That's equivalent to what is O-levels now?
What they call CXC. What CXC call O-levels now? Yeah. You have to do it at Cambridge, University of Cambridge exam. Yeah. It was much more difficult than CXC, you know, to tell you the truth. Because if you didn't pass English, they used to never give you a pass. Yeah. They used to say, well, you have to pass English if you want to pass the exam.
So you went to Osman for 4 years or 5 and wrote the Cambridge exam?
And I wrote the Cambridge exam and I got through. And I went back and I write it again, but I get the same grade because the fellows who were teaching you just, is the same fellows who just come out from classes here. Yeah. They were employed to teach the same thing. Okay. And in 1959, I started to work up St. Helena.
Where in St. Helena?
St. Helena Hindu School.
Okay.
I got a letter from Mahasabha board, right? The fellow was, I forget the guy's name, but he was the secretary and he gave me a letter, right? And I took that letter to the principal and I started working there. And as I say, the salary was $81.20 a month. But it was 15 cents to go from Tunapuna to Aruca and 15 cents to go in. So your passage for the day was 60 cents. Today now it's $5 to go up to Aruca and $5 to go in.
Okay. So you're teaching now in Tunapuna,
in
St. Helena Hindu, sorry. And you're teaching what classes and how?
I started teaching infant department.
Right.
And then he moved me up to teach in the feeder class.
Okay.
There's a class, when you leave there, you're going to common entrance.
Right, okay.
Right? So I worked there for a little while, and then I get called to go train college. I went to Postisi.
To Posti?
Postisi was Port of Spain Teachers College.
Teachers?
They had 3 teachers college in those days. Postisi, Port of Spain Teachers College, Government Training College, and Naparima Teachers College in South. So those, the number of teachers in Trinidad used to be shared. Government Training College will get a number, yeah. Port of Spain Teachers College will get, and in South will cater for down there.
Okay. And how long that training was?
That was a 2-year course, right? So I went in 65, 66, and I came out in 67.
Okay.
And then I went to work at El Dorado. I worked there, and there's the time from there I went to the university, because we used to have a lot of drinking sessions.
Wait, while you was working at El Dorado? As a teacher?
As a teacher, a lot of consumption of alcohol. And then I went to Port of Spain one day and I met this guy named Neil. And Neil said, Narinesingh, what you doing, boy? Where you working? So we started chatting and I said, boy, I'm working at El Dorado. He said, so where you doing good? I said, having a good time. Every week we in party. He said, very good. He said, let me tell you something. I nearly finished year 1 at the university, you know, and you are not a stupid man. So continue doing what you're doing. And he left me and he walked away. And I leaned up against the Stevens and Todd's on Frederick Street. And I sat pondering, but Neil nearly finished university. And Neil wasn't brighter than me, right? I went home and I lied on my couch and it started playing and I said, thank you God, like you send a message. Next day I went to the university and I get forms and I fill it out and I send it in. And early in August, I get a reply, you are accepted to read for BA Part 1 on an evening class basis. Please come to the, on so-and-so date and we will give you all the details. So I went in, I got my timetable, I paid for the so on and whatever I had to pay for and so on, and I started the evening classes. So I went back there and tell the fellas, I have no time to go in revanting again. I done.
And drinking, you finished with the drinking at that stage.
And I went, and in the short space of time, I finished the year 1. And I got a government bursary to go in for the next 2 years. But it was not without a lot of confrontation. And a guy by the name of Hector McLean, who was the PNM representative in Tunapuna, and who was my good friend. He took up my case and he went with to cabinet with it, and they approved it. And 30-something of us got public servants and teachers who completed the year 1 will now be granted a bursary. So you will get your full salary, you will get $500 for books, and you will get a living allowance of $240. You all, but they minus the taxes you had to pay. So I went in for the 2 years and I completed a degree in economics and sociology. And I got a good job in the bank, you know, but I couldn't leave.
Okay.
I couldn't leave because I signed a contract to work with the government.
Right.
So I had to stick with that.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And I worked, from there, I went back in my old job. I had to go back to my old job. And then in February the following year, I got a letter to go down Chaguanas. And I worked there until 1997. And we had one of the better senior comp schools in Trinidad.
In Chaguanas Senior?
At Chaguanas, because we had 3 A-level classes and we used to do really good.
Yes.
Well, we said, when I spoke to the principal, what we did was we took back children who get 3 passes and 2 passes and so on, and we give them an additional year. But we also got some good children from Presentation and Couva Convent, and we give them a chance, and when they completed, they went up to the level classes. And our results were exceptionally good. Because Central had very few schools, like East West Corridor has all the schools. St. Mary's, QRC, Convent, Bishops, Convent in St. Joseph, Arima. What did Central have? 1 convent and no other school.
And no
Presentation. Yeah, yeah. For the boys and convent for the girls. And that was it. And boy, I ended my days there and I got an award, you know. I got a national award. I have the letter home. But when the government changed, I was nominated for a national award for outstanding services. Because I used to give free lessons. And my student came first twice in social studies. And the chief education officer named Kensi Pasadi came home by me. He told me, boy, I have some good news for you. I said, like, 8 o'clock in the night, eh? He said, we just finished the marking and so on. And a student from all the school come first, boy. I said, that is not good news, man. He said, how you mean that is not good news? I said, boss, that is damn good news, right? And he laughed and he said, all right, you will get the letter tomorrow, the van will come and deliver it. So I tell him, hey, wait no man, you can't do me that, I ain't going to sleep tonight. So he said, all right. He get down and when he give me the name, I say, hey, that is my student, boy. And she wasn't the brightest.
And if somebody used to also give private lessons?
I used to give free lessons too, right? Lunchtime, I run classes from 10 past 12 to 10 to 1. You could eat in my class, you could drink in my class. Don't talk, don't disturb. Yeah. Just come and pay attention. And with that extra thing they get, 14 ones and 14 twos in the exam out of 32 children. Yeah. And out of that, one of the girls came first out of 12,000 children. So the education officer, he used to always tell me, boy, always has something real good going on in that school, you know, because somebody else had gotten it for another subject, right? Okay. And that's how it went. And when I retired in 97, boy, I had the best function anybody ever had in the school there. Dave and they were there because they tell me to invite who I wanted, and I invite a few family and friends, and they had a fantastic send-off. I still have tables and things that they give me. They send me to Tobago for a fortnight, for 4 days. They give me a lot of little small gifts and so on. Yeah. I still have a table, and because they wanted to buy a television. I tell them I have a 32, what will they give me television for? So they buy a table and 2 chairs till I'm outside. Yeah, and that's how it went. And since that at home, and everything going real good. Quiet.
You mentioned, one of the things you had mentioned a couple of nights ago when we were speaking was about how people, it was a funny thing, and I thought it would be a nice story to share about how people would dress when they're traveling, and the first time you travel on a plane.
Yes, yes. The first time I traveled by plane was when I was going on honeymoon, and I dressed up in suit and thing to go Barbados, right?
You had on a suit.
I had on a suit, and my wife had on a sari. Yeah.
So to go Barbados, you put on a suit, a jacket, and a tie.
Everybody put on jacket and tie and suit. You're going on a plane, right? It's only afterwards, about 10 or 15 years, I see when I started going to work with CXC. But other than that, I travel. I used to go Caracas and thing, yes, and Margarita and same Barbados. I see everybody going short pants and thing in the plane, and jersey. But I never go in short pants and I will go properly dressed. Yeah. And that was. It was, we used to laugh. We used to laugh, say, you remember the first time we traveled, we had on suit and thing? Yes. And say, yes, yes. And my wife say, and I tell she, and you had on a sari?
A sari too, yeah.
To go Barbados. Yes, yes, yes. You dress, you go travel, yes, you know. And it was a lot of fun.
And a lot of people in the airport waiting to see you go as well.
When you're traveling, your whole family coming in the airport to see you. When you're going on the plane, then 2-3 car load going back home.
And in those days, you had a waving gallery.
You had a waving gallery upstairs, yes, yeah. Well,
the children today wouldn't even know.
No. All your family going on the waving gallery. And when the plane take off, you ain't even seen them, but they get the plane right. Yeah. Yeah, it was good days, boy. It was real good days. Everything has changed. Now, people don't have morals and values. Like the family is not teaching the children. Well, when I say in the families, there are certain families not teaching the children, and those are the children who are going out now in society and creating a lot of havoc. Young fellas, 16, 17, and 18, they have no regards for the law. They want to fight, they want to thief, they want to do all kind of... You never see a long time your neighbor could hit you to cloud if you catch you doing any stupidness. And you better delay your father know because you get next to the cloud. No. If you tap a fella, your father will come with a cutlass for you, you know, and that is one of the problems.
And in those days, the whole village
raising a child, the whole village raising everybody, all the children. You have to respect the people in the village. Otherwise, you pay the cake. Yeah. So that's how life used to be. It is a totally different scenario now. Yeah, boy.
Well, Suruj, nice talking. Good information, and we will do this with some more stories again at another time.